Hey, folks, this is your ghost host, Damien Reaper, and you're listening to Scream Out Loud. Another mini webisode, minisode, all the sods. This is going to be a small little talk of how I created Damien Reaper as a character and kept it going, well, all through my haunted house era, 98 to 2019, to past with artwork and stories and stuff until today, for throughout my retirement as well. And it all started with a little bit of reality. You see, back when I was 10 years old, in 3rd grade, I was at a field trip, and for some reason, I fell down a sewer pipe, which is God honest truth. It was a traumatic event, nearly drowned, especially if I would have, because it was the picture in your mind. Think of a rusted version of the Mario Brother pipe. That's what it was like. It was filled with water up to my chin, and if I would have smacked my head or something and fell deeper into it, we would not be speaking now. I would literally be a dead person. But at this field trip, it was because of a bully. Did not tell me what I was stepping on was a sewer lid, because there was so much grass and nothing was kept up right. It was kind of like a camping trip, basically. And no teachers and no adults were even around, of course. But that happened, and it happened like a snap. Then a year after, or 2 years after, in 4th grade, because I failed 3rd grade. 4th grade, I was called a satanic worshiper for drawing a picture of Kiss by my principal, counselor, and school teacher. It made me feel like I was judged. I was looked under under a lens where in their view, I was a negative person. They even put into my permanent files, thank you to my junior high to tell me. They said that my mom, who is blind, and my grandparents, and I, and my little brother were in a cult. And within those thoughts of, if I can't be me, I'm going to make them fear me. So I started to grow out my hair, wear all black, and become what would be later Damien Reaper. In school, I would put my hair in front of my face and talk like this, and try to make it like I was something else, something otherworldly. Most kids understood it. Some were scared. Teachers kind of got it when they got to know the person I was. And, in 1990, I had the name Demon in football. So when 1998 came around, I was already into Alice Cooper, Kiss, The Undertaker, the Universal Monsters, the Three Stooges, and all those type of things that were larger than life. I loved cartoons. Cartoons were like a best friend of mine. Beetlejuice, Ghostbusters, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Batman '89 were my introductions to cinema, and I wanted to be something larger than life and something that was hidden inside this person with disabilities and mental issues or mental illness, because I have all those things, and I'm not ashamed of that, as many people would make me try to feel like I should be ashamed of those things, but I'm not. And I felt in 1998, I just wanted one room, a funeral parlor, with my buddy, old friends, Andy Becker, which is Drewski McKillicuddy on YouTube, Josh Perky, Dave Gums, Sarah Osborne, and I believe even my brother and Brad Taylor was also in the room at one point as well. And I had a natural interest with caskets. I loved caskets. Even before I watched The Undertaker and Dracula, there's something peaceful to that design, something that intrigued me, much like a graveyard. There's something I was being drawn to. Maybe it was the near-death thing, where maybe if things went wrong, I was going to be put inside of that. But it was the idea of the school's judgment and my fascination with darker things that created what would be one of the longest running characters in Cincinnati, Damien Reaper, said by Al Rizzo from USS Nightmare and House of Doom, City Blood, and many of the reviewers that call me an icon and legend all started with something that was real, tragedy, and with becoming Damien Reaper, I did not want to be a one-note, one-year type of character. I wanted to build backstories of every room, every change, every evolution, and still be the core Damien Reaper, but I could be the funeral director, the biker, the gravedigger, the minister, the counselor, the detective, Blammo, Marianne, Scar, an inmate version of me. All whatever it needed to be, I was still Damien Reaper, still evolving, still fitting in, even when a lot of people highbrow said I did not fit in anymore to a certain place and certain environment, and that wasn't cool with me. But anyway, that character it wasn't a character, it was much more of an extension of who I was, and the rooms kind of was the things that were around me, or where Damien was had to evolve into, where he still was calling people meatbags, worm food, telling people they're going to hell and their damnation and all that stuff. But it was it would be like, okay, take your real personality and your real self, and let's change just the year and date and place. Where if you were born in England in 1970s during the Beatles, would you change? How much would you change? What would be your personality, your likes, and how would that change? But still, you had this prior life that you remember, and kind of like a reincarnation, but you kept certain traits of yourself all through it. Kind of like Quantum Leap in some ways, or Doctor Who, except the vessel was the same. It was my body, but it was different makeups, different costumes, and that's what it was Damien Reaper, a demon, taking over a vessel, changing it to look like the way he did in a time period or nightmare that he was haunting whoever. and that just made more sense to me than continuously changing a persona that nobody's going to give a shit about, and or just sticking to one thing where I'm a clown and that's all I'm ever going to be. I did not want to be on any of that. I wanted to be myself, but be versatile enough to where the character's still alive, my resume and history, that some people, for some reason, want to clean slate your history, and with 2 out of the 3 uh, branches of my family went out of business, which are alive in spirit, or should be respected by any haunted attraction. Doesn't matter who you are or whatever situation that you may like or dislike the other haunts, but you aren't the bee's knees. You aren't the best in the world, so, and neither am I. I'm going to respect everything of a person's history, and that's what Damien Reaper is. He's a vessel of Halloween itself, really, because he could be anything I want him to be, because he's me. He's an extension. He's something that's real, something rooted in truth, which is people's judgment, and what are you going to do about it? My dad, the evil one, was just himself, just amped about 10,000, which wasn't too. He was probably about at 500 all the time anyway. I think that when you try to create something for someone, you're losing what makes haunting special. I personally believe, and many might disagree, and again, I'm Demon Reaper and I don't care. I like when actors create the process of their own makeup, their own costume, their own story, their own pathway, not some owner that's going to use that IP to make money and make shirts and all that stuff. That's great and all, and should be in a haunted house if they want, but I'd rather it being coming from a truth of a person's real passion and real dreams, and and the other way makes no sense to me. It's a haunted house. None of us are classically trained drama actors to try to perform as someone else. You have to come from some type of truth and influence and love and passion of something to keep doing it. I'm not going to dress up like a werewolf because I love werewolves, but even back before I hurt my spine, physically I could not wear anything that heavy. I didn't want, I'm not going to wear someone else's skin, someone else's creation, just for a paycheck. And it's nothing because I have an ego. It's that I'm not that type of actor. I'm not a theater actor. Why are haunted houses trying to treat this as real theater, where you go in, they give you a role, and it doesn't matter if you have your heart in it or not. If you don't have your heart into something, they let you go. Well, that doesn't make any sense. If they knew you from the start, learned about who you are, even if you're a newbie, base your character around your personality, tragedies, and have a root of truth about it. Doesn't matter what room or what change your costume is, or slight changes of variations. You can fit into any room and any haunt anywhere. Too many are so just drawn to the simplest of things. Of, you're a clown, okay, that's one thing. Next day you'll do a zombie, fine. They put up on the wall, Clown 1, Zombie 2, and I just kind of look at it and go, it's like that, something I heard recently. of actors being recyclable. And my thought is, if you're going in with that in your head as an owner, that these people are recyclable, my thoughts are, so are you. So is your business. Who's going to want to work for somebody that looks down on someone just because you hire them? You want a pure team spirit, but you don't know how to look for actors, and you don't know how to look for talent, and you're not putting in the idea of collaborating with anybody. This is who you are. You get the no say. You're just here, bow down to us type of deal. And going clean slate just tells me that haunt disrespects everything that you are. Doesn't give a shit who you are. Doesn't shit where you come from, your roots, and how is that tradition to me? So to me, with Damian Reaper, I'm not into just following people for a paycheck, or I'm into self-expression and real art. I'm not here to add to your daydreams of wanting a theater when none of us are theater actors. And so the concept of trying to become something outside of that passion of why you want to get into something makes no sense. And I like characters that last a long time. Mickey Mouse, Batman, Bugs Bunny, Dracula, they all go through changes. Different people can play them, but the character is the same. And for us as haunted house performers, it makes no sense for you to be a fill-in for somebody's hand-me-downs. It doesn't make no sense to me. Try, every year giving somebody a chance to grow. Give someone the chance to bloom as an artist. Bloom within their box, within your box. I was so happy when they got rid of those contracts that make no sense, non-compete. Who are you competing against? Who's around? Who are you so against of someone taking their creations and going somewhere else with it? Why are you, I could see a mascot where, the owner gives you it to play with, but it is their property. But not everything in a haunted house is their property. You are your own property. You own your own likeness. You can do whatever you want. The idea that this monopoly, so-called haunts wanted to take all the identity away from an actor. You're the one that's going out getting punched and kicked and spat on for volunteer or minimum wage. How does that make sense? Never did to me. To me, a real haunted house is, here's your room, create whatever you want. But if you want a legacy, create yourself. Don't, if you're going to say the same character, keep evolving it, keep changing it. But don't forget your roots, and don't let somebody spit on your roots. This is my second mini episode. If you love what I do, you're part of the cult of Diamond's Eye. I see you as diamonds because you're amazing and you're great. You're wonderful. Keep rocking and keep rolling all night long. And all those meat bags being hateful will rest in an eternal damnation.